Nebula has arrived, and damn, is it a good card. It's in the wee hours of the night here in Canada. I've been playing basically as long as I could before having to make this video, before blacking out. I got 5 decks for you that feature Nebula, and 1 deck that is like a Nebula counter style deck. If you didn't buy the season pass, you're interested in kind of, getting some free cubes off everyone trying to spam Nebula. With that being said, I know one of the first questions you're going to ask is, Alex, what are your first impressions? Is Nebula worth buying the season pass for? One thing I will say is I think that it is a very strong 1-drop. So my initial impression is yes. If you're buying the season pass simply because you want to pay for a card unlock and not like the rest of the progression, which I still think is super valuable, honestly. If you're talking about just the card, yes, Nebula is worth it. It's a very strong 1 cost. Possibly the strongest 1 cost. It definitely competes with the likes of like the prior Kitty Pryde, which I think was maybe a little bit better, Sunspot and others. Like, this is a great card. It was regularly getting to like 1.7 for me, like on average. And if you consider that like the 1.3 stat line is kind of the average for a 1-drop, like this is a banger card. It is really strong. And obviously it activates the Guardians, which are kind of being underplayed right now. So it kind of opens up a new style of deck for you, which I think is really interesting. So I give it an A-OK in terms of the purchase standpoint. I think it's strong enough. I think it's meta relevant enough. And I think it's fun enough. So I think Nebula is definitely on that side. Now let's talk about the decks here. And my voice is already giving out. Now, I do have gameplay examples at the end of this deck explanation. So please keep an eye out for that. I did play a whole ton tonight, and I got some awesome gameplay for you. But one of the first decks we want to talk about was just straight up Guardians of the Nebula. People want to see decks that like feature the Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is it. The idea of like just kind of getting Goose in there, which Goose obviously protects the Nebula, which prevents people from playing on top of it, which allows it to ramp up, while giving you opportunities to play under it with like the Green Goblin, the Star-Lord, and of course Groot. Storm's great because if you storm a location with Nebula, they can't play on top of it. And Captain Marvel gives you some added mobility, which I really like in this list, with Gamora, who helps you finish off the game with a turn 6 Rocket Raccoon. I often found myself skipping turn 1 if I had Rocket Raccoon and not Nebula, by the way, in conjunction of playing that Rocket Raccoon on turn 6. Overall, a good deck, right? This was good. It worked. No problems. Now, this was the one that I think was the best. Okay, of all the decks I experimented with, this one was the best. The Nebula Control style deck. Now, it's a little more expensive because it has the Jeff in it specifically. Jeff is kind of like the expensive card in it. But Jeff with Professor X, Hobgoblin, the Green Goblin. I mean, it has counters to Galactus with the Juggernaut. It has counters to the ongoing cards with Enchantress. It has Magneto for the kind of disruption on the 3 lanes. It has the Storm Lockdown, Lane Correction, Daredevil. It does everything right. I love this deck. If you're trying to play Nebula to rank up, I think this is the one you do with it. It's super strong. Again, I got highlights of it, ripping it. It's a good deck. I like this one a lot. And so I really recommend, if you're going to be experimenting with Nebula and trying to figure out, this is the one you go to. With that being said, I do think there's some other ones too that are not as hot. Now, so I wanted to experiment with a Aggro Nebula based deck. I'm having trouble speaking. And it wasn't great because so many people are running Killmonger right now. The actual core deck was working, and I actually cut Khazar out of it to add Groot. We made a couple other changes. We were putting power on the board, but what was happening was people were like, let's just say, playing a lot of Killmonger because they're just feasting on the Nebula players, right? So Killmonger was an issue. I could see this deck being better like a week from now when things settle a little bit. But its win rate wasn't as much as I would like. And therefore, of all the decks I'm talking about today, I wanted to show you the kind of like the work in progress, but I would skip this one, honestly. Now, if you don't have a lot of fancy pants, pool 3 cards and pool 5 and 4 cards, and you're like, Alex, I just want to play something that just works with Nebula, on pool 2 or whatever, this is what I would recommend. This is a very inexpensive list. It has Nebula in it. It has all the cards you need. I love the inclusion of Ant-Man here. And Scorpius is a great 2-drop. Storm gives you the opportunity to play that Storm Nebula location. Groot with the follow-up. Jessica Jones for the follow-up on the Storm location as well. Gamora, and of course, Chavez, which improves your opportunity to pull Nebula early. This is a very consistent deck. I think the Control deck is better, but this one is very consistent. So if you don't have all the pieces that you need and you're kind of like early in your collection track in Marvel Snap, this is definitely one that you can lean towards. Now, this one here is probably one of my favorites as well. If I'm not playing the Control one, I'm going to play this one. It's kind of wild to me to think that you can take what I think one of the best decks in the game right now in Discard add Nebula into it, and it just works. You get rid of the Iceman, which is what I was playing before, to kind of counteract some of the Sarah Miracle stuff. And Nebula just like is a 1/7. Like it's a 1/7. It's free real estate. And Discard as a whole is just amazing. Like it really is amazing. I've been saying for weeks, this is probably one of the best decks out there. You add Nebula in, and this is kind of why Nebula is such a good season pass card. I took Iceman out and I added Nebula in. Like there's nothing else to this here. There's no other magic. It's an already fantastic deck that just got better because of Nebula. So this is one that you can really turn to gain rank in Marvel Snap right now. It's a great one. I like it a lot. And you're going to be seeing me release a video on this because it is that damn good. Now, what I'll also tell you here is if you want to counter Hela, what you're going to want to do is there's a couple counters here. Elektra is technically a counter to, I said Hela. If you want to counter Nebula, but like Elektra is kind of niche. You're better off running the Nova Killmonger package. And then you have like Jeff and others. If you don't have Jeff, you can even use someone like a Mojo because you're often going 4 deep into a lot of the locations with Nebula. But overall, what this is a wave 5 deck. You play wave on turn 5. It disrupts any Sarah style decks as well. And then you're able to play like the Arrow Doom, Arrow and She-Hulk, Doom She-Hulk, Enchantress She-Hulk, right? If you want to get rid of a Devil Dinosaur or Darkhawk or whatever. And ultimately, Nebula, once again, just doesn't really stand much of a chance. Like Killmonger's kind of a catch-all. Now, Nebula players are playing armor, but it doesn't even matter because what you're going to be doing is you're going to make sure you dodge the armor location with Nova, and you're going to try and put up as much power as you can anyways. Regardless, guys, the gameplay highlights you're about to see were recorded live on Twitch TV. It's why I have no voice. We've been talking all night, and I would love if you join us on Twitch. We have a ton of fun. A link in the description and in the comment section down below. I'd love to see you there, and I hope you enjoy these gameplay highlights. We've got options here. I think it's going to be Nebula mid. And Nebula wants like Sanctorum or Miniaturized Lab or something like that, right? Stark Tower, not as much. A little sad. We do have Colleen Wing, though, that we can follow up with. This is a different kind of... Goose is fine for us. I don't mind Goose. Goose ain't a problem. Camartage, is it? MODOK loves Camartage. Skipperoonie. Oh. Do you know who loves stormed locations? Dracula. We got MODOK in hand. We have Apocalypse. We can snap. Dracula's huge here. Plays Nebula. Viper into the Onslaught Citadel. I like the idea of Nebula into the stormed location, by the way. I like where their head's at. Now, here's the thing. We have the MODOK here. We're going to end up with Wolverine jumping somewhere and 4 swarms. I think we actually have to play down the swarms here. We cannot risk like not being able to play Chavez where Goose is. So we do this. They also get the +2s. They're technically 5 power. Prof X. Yo. It's not what I expected at all.
All systems go.
That's big yikes for them. Oh no. Now we're hitting guaranteed Chavez here. The question is, do they have Jeff? Which is likely. No, they're gone. They're gone. Wow. But like you're looking at Nebula, I mean a 9. Well, technically a 7 because they got the +2 from Stark Tower. But like these discard decks, like they just work, and obviously Nebula's going to do a great job in them as well. We're playing Bar Sinister games again? Is this Electro? It's Space Stone. Sending me over that Space Stone. I don't want Space Stone. That's probably why they're sending it over. We go Goose Nebula here. I mean, there's an argument to be made that Nebula into Bar Sinister, because they can only play into it once, is kind of funny. But when we have Daredevil Hobgoblin, I think we have to We have to play this. Now, I'm going to... I think I snap here. No, they can get underneath the Hala here. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now I don't need to play my own armor. But I might not have everything else. Okay, we got Juggernaut here, which is kind of nice. Now, I'm actually not sure of this interaction. So, in theory, when I designed the deck, my thought was, if I Juggernaut whatever they're playing, does it count as them playing in the location? So, they're going to play here, for sure. Let's see if Nebula still procs. Okay, so there's the play. They definitely played the location. It's now moved. Nebula does not get the proc, okay? That's notable. So she remains a 1 because they did play into that location. Does that make Juggernaut a potential cut for this deck? I feel like Juggernaut with Storm is still too good. Right? Devil Dinosaur? We probably just lock mid, right? We prof bar. Pull Enchantress, it's an easy win. Pull Enchantress, it's an easy win. Let's go. Now, we're in a situation where we can't snap because if we snap, they leave because I think it's going to be hard for them to put up 7 power with the Goose location. They're probably feeling pretty confident with this Devil Dinosaur, but we're going to Enchantress Armor. And this is a very clean victory, in my opinion. Very clean victory, in my opinion. So, I hope that they try and contest the Nebula location because this Devil Dinosaur is going down. Oh, they're going both locations. They're actually going Devil Dinosaur's location and into Hala. What was the plan here? Oh. Interesting. So they were going for the tie on Bar Sinister and then beat us with the Devil Dinosaur's height. Interesting play. Interesting play there. I like that, but we obviously we got that dub there. But the Ant-Man was simply to prevent the Nebula proc. We got the peak. Oh no. Oh no. My Green Goblin. Green Goblin, why? What do I even do here? Hey, thanks for the armor, bud. I appreciate that. It's helpful. We Groot. They skip. We Drax. There it is. Drax landing it. Drax making us proud. I'm going to throw this down because it blocks them from playing here next turn. She gets the +2 anyways, and if they fill, then he just stays. This is silly, but I'm going for it. Devil Dino. Shang-Chi says, good morning, sir. I'm not even playing Hazmat. Should snap here, but let's just take the 2. Nah, I don't think you actually snap here, honestly. We don't have turn initiative, though, so Mystique technically will win another location. But that cheeky Green Goblin, I don't think that Green Goblin's doing much of anything right now, honestly. It's Mystique. That's sad. That's sad. Guardians of the Nebula getting her done. Getting her done. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. A very clean victory for the good guys. Sinister, London, and we have Nebula. They're going to want to play into the Sinister London. Now, if we play the armor into Sinister London and it goes... Oh, it's Goose. Thank you for Goose. Goose actually helps me quite a bit. We need armor to go mid and right. Savage Land, lol. Do I take the risk? Oh man, I don't have turn initiative. This is such a nasty play. If I had turn initiative, it wouldn't scare me. Double Goblin for the content? Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. In what world does that happen like that? What do I even do now? I think I play Drax left. Cap Marvel mid? I can't cap Marvel mid. Yo, I landed it. Let's go. Drax plays left. It's Nebula mid with Daredevil. Everything is awful. I have -2 mid. I think I go cap Marvel left. I can't play Gamora. I can't play Gamora because of the gooses. They go left. That means they're... Oh. Bruh, what a game. What is even happening? That's how we play Marvel Snap. Nebula turn 1. What a good feeling this is. We'll play Nebula into the location. We'll call it the safe lane because we know what it looks like. We know what's there. We know what's up. Daily Bugle. Got some Galactus gameplay. We can play Goose here. Try to read where they are. It's unlikely they play into the Nebula location, right? If I split up Goose and Jug. Let's play Goose here. God damn it. Vormir, so they have to play a destroy card there. I can actually Electro. So they're going to Electro into Vormir, obviously. They're probably going to snap here. Thinking they're epic gamers. Yeah, so it's their Electro. But my deck is designed to play multiple cards, sir. It's a pretty cool Electro variant for what it's worth. Do we go with the gutsy Prof X play? I think we do. The only thing is here, now I can't Galactus anywhere because he filled the location. However, I can Hobgoblin. So this Galactus player just got destroyed. This was a Galactus player who had nothing.